Here we are. We're gonna start doing a podcast every Sunday. This is my mom. And our topic for today is gonna be friendships. And as you know, we're both autistic. So we're gonna just present our different point of views and how do we experience that. Because I think she has a completely different point of view of what I had. But it's like I try to adapt to it and she basically gives up. I think that it's fun to show how different generations share their own point of view. Plus, also, we are both late diagnosed autistic. I think it's fun how we see the point of like our world.
That's interesting point about friendship.
Yes.
It was not something that I was worried about. I was not busy in having friends because I felt myself different. I don't know why, but I understood since the beginning that it was difficult to have friends. The people were different.
Most people were different.
Why am I going to have friends with somebody that is completely different?
It was completely something different, but like, why did you have a family? Because you even told me like once, I think I have my family because I didn't have my people. In a way, your family were your friends.
Yes, in a way. I always felt myself outside. I remember once I had possibility. I feel that I've never been bullied at school. But when I was among conversations with my classmates, for example, topics that I was completely far away and I was not interested in that. After, when I got into when I was teenager, I started to have friends, men, not women, because I could speak with them about politics, philosophy, religion. And I was very passionate speaking with them about those topics that I never could speak with my girlfriends. Even once, when in a party I started to speak about philosophy with the boys. I remember once that I was in a party and I started to speak about politics, and I don't remember. There were topics very interesting for me, and I was very passionate speaking with the boys at that party. And my friend called me and said, "Hey, don't be so boring. We want to have fun." And I was attracting all the men. The problem is that I felt myself always that I was boring. I was a little like useless about friendship.
Yeah, because like I myself, my closest friends, then they tend to know that when I start speaking on like a topic that I'm really interested, they start saying like, oh, now's the time that she's gonna take 30 minutes to talk about that and you're gonna let it go. And then if the person is not interested and that person is my friend, then they start sleeping or doing something because they know that they need to allow me to do that. But that doesn't mean like there's a difference. It's like, oh, that's boring. Then being a friend and being, you're allowed to do that. And I'm allowed to just...
That's beautiful because I felt myself that I was never allowed to be me.
That's why I call them my friends. But the thing is, recently for me, it was the fact that I tend to divide my friends in two different groups. You have the neurotypical friends and you have the neurodivergent friends. Yeah. My neurotypical friends is those are the ones that I tend to adapt more and that I tend to take more time and just to be a character. Maybe I need to allow them to gossip. Maybe I need to just put myself and be like, oh, I get why you think that the conduct that she did was wrong. But I believe that most of the time, I'm not believing that the sort of context that they described is putting the girl or the guy in a wrong picture. But it's just the fact that for me to fit into their idea of wrong and right, then I need to allow them. And that's where I'm putting my energy on the top. But that's the thing is, like autistic people, we have like sort of morality or like a sense of righteousness of things are really rigid, and we try to stick to a lot of this is like this and this is like that. But society, if you talk with neurotypical people, then one person may have one thought, but if that person that they talk doesn't fit their idea of right, then they will switch it to something else just so that they can put the other person in the wrong picture. And that's where I'm like, I don't agree. And sometimes the other person may not have done something wrong for me because I believe in being open minded. And I like believing that if a person did a mistake, they're always allowed to say I'm sorry if you asked, or if you say to them, I didn't like what you did. But I don't like gossiping, like the idea of gossiping.
I think people, I don't know, but maybe that people are not used to speak directly, and they prefer to start gossiping about your friend instead of telling the truth directly.
But there's a lot of time being wasted out of just gossiping meanly about a person that is not in the same room, and just talking, trying to put the other person on a really low spot, and a person that maybe I don't even know, and I need to start describing this person's conduct, and in my certain way, if I don't know that person, how am I gonna judge it? But in their way of thinking, it's right. For me, if I don't know a person, first of all, I don't know how they behave. I don't know why they have done anything. Plus, also, if the person is not in the room, I'm not allowed to judge it. It's sort of like a morality that I have. Why would I judge a person? But it comes to the same that you say. For me, the reason why I think that if you're gonna judge a person, you're gonna do it in the same room, is because I like being direct. If I'm gonna judge a person and say my opinion over something, I'm gonna tell that to their face. And I would never do it on their back because, first of all, it doesn't help. You will have to repeat it. And second of all, what's the point? I don't see the point in gossiping without having a solution. Like for me, if you're trying to find a solution because that hurted you and you want that to change, then you need to say to the person that caused it. That's what I believe.
I don't know. I don't understand people behave that way.